beautiful people. It's been a long time since I've got on this channel. For those of you who don't know, this is Athena Marie TV, where I basically speak on alternative modalities so that you can have choice outside of allopathic medicine. But it's not just for health, physical body. Talking about physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and I think I just hadn't been inspired to jump on here and talk to you guys. One, I moved, and it's been about 6 months now, so there was a lot of adjustments, and just getting the motivation back and getting refocused on my purpose, like why I came was for one thing, and my vision for while I'm out here was another. So I kind of wrote down some talking points and kind of chose one that I felt would be honest, easy for me to talk about at this point. And it basically is grounding. It's about grounding yourself. A lot of people know prior to pandemic, I have been really working a lot, and it came down to the point where I was overworking. And though I was preaching taking time for yourself, self-care, yada yada yada, like most professionals do, I wasn't actually doing it myself. And the result of that is I did have an emotional breakdown at work in between clients. The cool thing about it was that because of what I do, the clients that I have were very patient and gracious with me and encouraging. So it could have been an embarrassment thing, but it was more of a nurturing thing. Like, I nurture them, they nurtured me back. So it just showed me the value of what I was doing. The other thing, I'm at this point talking from heart, nothing written down, going back into memory of that time in my life. So it made me, like, I've been told several times through other people that have, in a sense, mentored me, that you know, you should meditate, especially like a lot of my how do I say, emotional, I'm sorry, not emotional workers, but energy workers, co-workers, or just clients that were doing energy work and saw things in me, and then other people who had worked on me. And it was always meditate, and I was always one of those people who was like, meditating is like, it's hard for me, in the sense of what I was thinking meditating was, sitting in a quiet space and just clearing your mind. So that just wasn't me, and it might be just because of my personality too, that like I'm always quiet. So, but I'm always quiet, but at the same time I have a lot on my mind, so it was more quieting my mind was a little hard. But I noticed that when I'm in nature, it's much easier for me to concentrate on things and thinking and stuff like that. So what I decided to do was commit to myself. Every Sunday was going to be my grounding day, and it became so normal that my friends knew, anybody that I dated knew. Like, if you ask, oh, are you doing something on Sunday? Sorry, it's my grounding day. For those people who didn't know, I had to explain, you know, and they respected it. And to the point where I hadn't done it. I think COVID kind of messed it up. I hadn't done it so long that once we were coming out of COVID, somebody was saying something about Sunday, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's your grounding day," and I kind of laughed at myself because I hadn't done grounding day, what, 2 years? Because life had changed so much that I wasn't necessarily in need of it the way I was when I was just overworking. So I just wanted to give you that background. Oh, some people ask me, what do I do for grounding? And then what is grounding? Grounding basically is a time where you are connecting back to earth spiritually, taking time to, in a sense, meditate. And so that was my way of meditating. It was grounding. Connection to earth, meaning take off your shoes, walk in the grass, walk in the sand. Somebody asked me, can I do it on concrete? That's not necessarily natural, so I would say no. Go hug a tree. You know, some people go hug trees. Whatever fits your fancy. But that goes also back to knowing self. I know for me, water is one of those things where I could be heartbroken, I could be sad, angry, and as soon as I get to water, you know, as soon as I'm driving to it, as soon as my eyes see it, there's an actual physical reaction that clears up and almost like washes it away. And it's a powerful thing, you know. Water is movement, so it's not stagnant. And a lot of times when you're angry, sad, and stuff like that, you become very stagnant. So that was what I did. So on Sundays, even though I worked on Sunday, because I was still hustling, it was only 4 hours in the morning, and I was done by 9, 10, 12. I think I was done by 12 to 1. So I had the rest of the day. So I would go over, get me some food, have a picnic with myself, and go to the beach. And so I was doing that every time. And what I started to notice was it was almost like a recharge for the next week. And I noticed it was good for me. And so I believe I did that at least for 1 or 2 years. And after a while, I started letting people come with me, you know, because they knew I was going. And so to see me, they would, you know, like, oh, do you mind if I come with you? Sometimes it depends on what I was going through. I would say no. And sometimes I would be like, yes. Like my homegirl Jackie and her daughter, you know, sometimes, you know, she would meet me up there at the beach or whomever, right? Whoever I felt safe enough to respect the space and not bring any drama into the space, you know what I mean? So it was very slick. So that's my story. Now that I've moved, and I had been wanting to move for several years, probably over 10. I just got stuck in California. I would say that this move was an assignment that God gave me. I knew I wanted to move, but I didn't know how. But everything aligned, you know, the way it was supposed to. And I say assignment is because, like most of you know, best friend got pregnant, told me she was, well, pretty much, best friend got pregnant, and I guess that was the catalyst for me to move. I felt a nudge. I didn't even make the decision till later, but I was like, at the time when she told me, I got a nudge of like, you gotta go. But the making a decision that you're gonna go came down the line, right? But it was instant. Like I felt like somebody nudged me in my heart. You gotta go. So I didn't think about anything. How I was gonna live, where I was gonna stay, where, like none of that at the time. So that was that. That's how I got out of here. But now that I've been here and I don't have beach, as you see behind me, it's very green, and I realized that is just as powerful as the beach for me. It's different, but it's just as powerful. Hopefully you can still hear me. Everybody's like air conditioning units and stuff like that coming on and stuff. But when I go walking in the parks out here, because it's so many trees, it feels like I'm walking in a forest all the time. And for me, it reminds me of camping with my family, and you know, which brings good times and memories. But also I noticed that because, you know, green is rebirth, it's new, it's growth, it inspires me. Like sometimes I'm walking and I'll just get a word and I'll have to write it in my phone or use my auto app, so that I won't miss it, because of course I don't have pen and paper with me. And I felt so stagnant in California. I used to write, I used to read, there's so many creative things that I used to do that it just stopped. I didn't have a desire, you know. I don't care how many times people tell me, oh, well, you should do this, this and that, you know, meditate, or, you know, write this thing out or whatever. It was just, energy was just stopped, you know. So, yeah. So being that this is not really about me, but I can keep going on. That's the background. So to help others that are out there, because I am known with my friends and family as a wellness coach. I'm known as a wellness coach with my clients as well. And so I just wanted to, they're the ones who encouraged me to even make this channel. They practically pushed me to do it. So I'm trying to, in one way, honor them and believing in me, and also pushing myself past my uncomfortable and getting to the next level. So when it comes to things I could suggest for others, it's pretty simple for me to say, but I find that it's hard for people to really come up with an answer when I ask them this question. And I'm like, you know, what makes you happy? What brings you joy? And then for those people, some people, it's like, oh, okay, you know, my grandkids, my this or whatever. And then some people, they still struggle. So I go deeper and I ask them, when you think about the last time that you laughed or you felt calm or something that automatically brought a smile to your face, you know, think about that time. Usually you can pull from that experience or those experiences and figure out, you know, what makes you laugh, what makes you, you know, so that is something like you can gravitate to. So if it's spending time with your family, that's still you grounding, you know, but just take it to the park or take it to the beach or, you know, something, be in nature. If it was, somebody was telling me, one client was saying, that's why I brought up the spending time with families, because she said whenever she's with her grandkids, you know, she laughs, she has a great time. So it's family, you know, spending time with family. But sometimes you just have to evaluate your life and see where it's misbalanced, and then, you know, try to balance it. For people who are workaholics, the hardest thing for them is to sit still, because their mind is always going, you know, next move, not realizing that if you take the time to stop a little bit and have some time to reflect, a lot of times it will help you in your business. versus missing, and like you can misstep, you know, because you're always going. And then also you're just not taking care of you. And everybody knows, even though we don't do it, taking care of you first will allow you to be able to be better in your life, you know, whether it's with your husband, with your children, with your business partner, any of those things. If you're happy, you tend to be more productive. And that goes back to, you know, something I just saw today on the YouTube show. It's a podcast, but Social Proof. Yeah, with David. They had on, God, what is her name? I just forgot her name. But anyway, I liked her. I'm probably gonna start following her. She kept it plain. She was herself. She kept it plain, and she talked about passion. You know, living your passion, and purpose. You know, finding your purpose, knowing who you are, will help you find your purpose. A lot of people say, I don't know what my purpose is, and you can't really know what your purpose is until you know yourself. So you have to do the work, you know, whether it's getting someone to talk to, getting a health coach, getting a wellness coach, there's so many, like people are so, I'm so glad that mental health now is so much more of a talking point, because I think that was like the missing link for a lot of people, of just allowing themselves to be human. The society, to me, doesn't allow you to be human. You know, women can't cry, that's a sign of weakness. Men can't cry, that's a sign of weakness. And to me, that's all BS. You have to be human first so that you could be relatable to another human being. Like your testimony helps another person's testimony. Being vulnerable, like when I went through my personal development course, going in, I felt being vulnerable was a weakness. Leaving out of there, I knew vulnerability was a strength. And I think if more people understand that, their walls that they have built up to prevent people from knowing them and seeing them would easily come down. I shouldn't say easily, but they will come down, and they would see how the interaction with other people would be changing. Their relationships with their business would be changing. Like it changes and it shifts so much of your life when you're able to just be you and not worry about, oh, I got to be this way with this person, oh, I got to be this way with that person. You're not being transparent. And transparency is another thing that we can talk about another time. So I would say, if I was to give more advice on just learning to ground yourself, write down points that you know, things you like to do, can point you in the direction of what you can do to ground yourself. Some people it's running, some people it's going to the gym, some people it's getting on the lake, going fishing. Like, it's that time that you have to yourself to help you clear your mind. I'm trying to sit right, but this chair, ooh, okay, I think I'm okay. So this chair is kind of off the pavement down here. But yeah, so that's one of the things I would say. Something I remember, I was on a walk and my girlfriend hit me up and said that her and her girlfriends were having a conversation and going around sharing what their purpose in life was, and she called me to find out how does she figure that out. And she is definitely more of a alpha female, and I would say alpha females tend to not be as connected with their emotions and a sense of I want to say a sense of self, but that's probably not the right word. a sense of vulnerability. I would say that, a sense of vulnerability. So being that you have to be vulnerable to figure out like what makes you happy, what brings you joy, because a lot of those females I know, they like, I don't cry, and I don't, you know, they're not touchy-feely and all that kind of stuff. So body language is huge teller of who you are. So there's so many things that you can, like, if you just take the time to observe yourself, or even just ask people, you know, what do you find I'm good at? You know, when do you see me happiest? And that may help as well. So that's a bit about grounding. If you have any more other questions, or want to hear any more stories, please let me know. If you want to find out how I'm doing out here in Georgia in my transition, please leave a comment. If you guys have any other, for you Georgians, if you guys have any suggestions of places like hiking or kayaking, or even little, I don't know, interest clubs for outdoor stuff that you can suggest to me, that'd be great. Moving to a new town is always a little nerve-wracking, but at the same time, when you do it after you've prayed and have gotten peace about it, it's easier. I'm not going to say that it's just like, woo, all good, but it's easier. And then, you know, you start dealing with other life stuff. But yeah, that's all I got for you. I'm trying to see if that was it. Yeah, that was pretty much it of my talking points. So maybe I'll have you guys choose the other talking point I should do next. So I'll just read them that I wrote down here. Helping you identify ways to improve, improve positive balance in your life. My women's wellness coaching, I have ID things that are no longer serving you, ID behaviors no longer serving you, ID mindset that are no longer serving you, helping ID things that bring you joy, which is interesting but it goes along with life, right? It's easy to pick out and nitpick the negative than we do the positive, and a lot of people do not know what makes them happy. And then helping ID ways to, well, that was today actually, helping ID ways of grounding yourself. Well, this one says daily, so I guess I can talk about that a little bit, because I just spoke on it as a whole. I would say, here's an example. Sometimes I will send text out to family and friends when I'm inspired, and I think one that I think caught people off guard one time was I text, do something that makes you smile today. And most everyday people are not thinking of doing something that makes them smile today. Probably only people that do that on a daily is those that have already established and living their life the way they want to. But I would say probably 90% is not. So doing something that makes you smile daily can be so simple, you know what I mean? Like, if you're a person, it goes back to knowing yourself, right? If you're a person of service, you know, helping out somebody or encouraging somebody, sending a text of encouragement or calling somebody on the phone, and listening to, you know, whatever, and maybe helping them out. If you're a person that's more of a doer, or a thinker, you know, it's like, figure out what you like to do and then just do it. And then sometimes it's just thinking for, if you are a person that you know you have done your checks and balances and you know that you're depleting of yourself, you know, go get a massage. Go get a foot massage, you know, for if you don't have time for like a whole hour. You know, there's so many things I can think of, but it's really, I can't tell you what to do. It's really figuring out that thing for yourself. But what I'm saying is, there's something every day that you can implement for yourself. And when it comes to grounding, if you're having a stressful day and these people at work are driving you nuts, but you have your 15 minutes and you can go outside, and there's just so happen a park across the street, and you go over there, take off your shoes and go walk in the grass, you would be so amazed at how much energy comes off of you and goes down into the earth. If you're in a building that is just no windows, like a warehouse or something like that, take the time to go outside and get some sun. That vitamin D alone can help you. You know what I mean? If you got a partner and y'all live close enough to home, and y'all could go home and, hey, get your quickie in, you know, that's bringing you joy. And it's taking off stress, you know what I mean? So there's just there's no limit to things. You just have to not be closed-minded to something you can do daily to ground yourself. For me at the time, I was doing it once a week. And you know what you need, you know how much you're burnt out, and you know when. And it's just implementing the do. So looking at this video, it's almost 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop it right here. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free. I'm going to see, even I'm working on myself, I'm going to put out a video once a week. If I do more, that's great. Just to get back in practice, because I have some things that I want to do, and this is the baby steps for me to get more comfortable talking, as well as formulating thoughts and all that good stuff. So like they say, practice makes perfect, and so I need to get used to doing this again. So to all my followers that I do have out there, thank you very much. If you feel that I can help anyone else just by them listening, tuning in, please share my page. I've been trying to get to 100 subscribers for some time now, and I know it's on me because I have not been consistent. So I'm going to, like they say, consistency. I learned something. It's not about trying and failing all the time. It's more about the consistency. So I've tried and I've said I'm gonna do better so many times, but I haven't stopped. I've regrouped and I'm back at it. So it's the consistency for me. So I know those numbers will come. I just need to, you know, have my own accountability and make sure that I do what I say. So I want to give one last word of encouragement to those who may be stuck, feeling uninspired. I feel like I'm getting bit up. That's the one thing out here in Georgia. Good Lord. I could be out here for like 2 seconds and get bit up. When you're feeling that feeling, just know that that's your body talking to you. to make a change, to make a shift, to do just something different, shake up your life, or just a reminder that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's another whole topic, of being present, being mindful, being authentic and transparent, you know, with self mainly. It's easy for us to point it out in others. It's not so easy when you want to turn the finger back to you. So learn to quiet yourself, learn to give yourself grace and mercy. And just know that with consistency, things change. And just also remember, emotions are ever fleeting. So they're temporary. May feel sad today, may feel happy tomorrow, you know what I mean? So don't get stuck in the moment, because I'm sure you've gone through something in the past and you've survived. And so just look at that track record and know that whatever you're dealing with is temporary and you will survive. So I'm out. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.